Welcome back to another sweet and amazing, juicy, transformative episode of the SOS Wellness Show. I am your host, Tess, and when I tell you I've been waiting to record this episode to get to my people, I've been excited for this because this has been on my heart, something that I have honestly been working to get better with. And so I hope this message finds you well. We're not gonna jump off. We ain't gonna jump off the porch just yet. I know the last episode just came like pow, pow, pow. In this episode, I want to end the year because listen, today's date, we gotta get the date. It's December 29th. It's the last this is the last episode of 2022 for the SOS Wellness Show. 2023 is about to be amazing. I had one of my coaches, shout out to my coach, oh my goodness, one of my mentors texted me. He said, listen, Tess, I feel like 2022 was full of development, was full of growth. And now, just like a caterpillar you had to develop, and going into 2023, it's time for you to fly. So I don't know who that is for. If 2022 was a year for you to learn yourself, embrace yourself, and develop yourself, that's totally fine. It's needed. Because just like a caterpillar goes through 4 different stages. It's a beautiful, first it's the egg, then it's the caterpillar. And so it's interesting in that caterpillar phase, the only thing that caterpillar does is eat. Because it needs that energy, it needs that food for when it goes to the 3rd phase, which is when it's in this chrysalis, that cocoon that we all see. And for months, it takes sometimes months or years for that cocoon, for that butterfly, for that once caterpillar to go into that chrysalis and to become a butterfly. So who is that for? What does that mean for you? I know in my life, I feel like I'm a true butterfly. I feel like I have gone through so many different things that I thought I would never make it through. And it's amazing because the process of a butterfly, the caterpillar does not start off with antennas or wings, just small little paw, little hands, and then after a while it grows to stretch beyond measure. So what is something that you think you're missing right now that you don't have, that you could take time to develop? Because even if you don't have it right now, it doesn't mean you won't have it. And that leads me directly into the episode of today, the title. Today's title is Relentless Self-Love. I'm not talking about just a little bit of self-love when you feel like it's self-love. I'm talking about relentless, meaning non-stop, not losing momentum, and definitely not conditional. Can I be honest with you? Transparent? For the longest time, I didn't realize that I only valued myself based on the people, based on being in relationships. I didn't feel worthy unless I had a companion. I did not know that until when I experienced different heartbreaks and I experienced moments of low, like just extreme low. You ever feel like you just don't even exist? You feel like a ghost? That's how I would feel after each and every heartbreak. And I remember one of my heartbreaks. I'll never forget this. I never forget this heartbreak. It literally, I felt my heart get pulled out of my chest. And I remember going to the lake one day and just feeling, I couldn't feel anything. I felt so numb. And after that, every relationship that I was in, I was a monster. I was cold. I just brought that trauma from one relationship to the next relationship because I did not identify the love that I had with myself. I thought that love meant being able to give it to somebody else. See, that's me. I'm a pro. I'm a pro with it. I can love and show up for everybody else. But when it's time to show up for myself, I'm not in attendance. And that's when I realized things had to change. That's when I realized I did not have relentless self love. And one thing I love about self love, I heard somebody say sometimes it's not always going to be convenient for you. It's not always going to be it's not always going to be just the easiest thing to do. Sometimes that's how you know you have self love is when you show up for yourself. Rain, sleet, snow, tornado, hurricane, it doesn't matter what's happening. You showing up for you because guess what? If ain't nobody else in the audience for you, you got to be in the audience for you. That's important. And even recently, I had to call myself out. Can I be transparent again? I can be transparent with y'all, right? Okay. I had to call myself out because recently I was introduced to this new exercise class, and it was really cool. And this amazing, beautiful person let me know about this class, and I went with this person. It was great. It was fun. And then maybe a few weeks later, I booked the same class for myself, right? But let me back up a little bit. When this person invited me to the class, the time it was time for me to go to the class, oh, I hopped up. I got there quick. This time, though, weeks later, I'm going to the class by myself. Let me tell you the difference. Let me tell you the difference. I scheduled this class. It's at 8 a.m. in the morning. Mm. And I've done it twice with this person, so I had all this energy to do it with this other person. But for when it came down to just do it for me, you want to know that I thought to cancel the class. I even looked to see if I can cancel the class, my friends. Terrible. I didn't have the same excitement. I didn't have the same zeal, the same push to show up for somebody else that I did for myself. And as soon as I tried to close my eyes to go back to sleep, like, I'm gonna cancel. I don't care. Yeah, charge me that fee. Reservation fee, $9, $12, however much it is. Cancel it. I opened my eyes, like, get up. And it was crazy because it was the same day it snowed in Atlanta. So this is what I mean. Sometimes when it comes down to you living your purpose and living your truth and living for you, it's not always going to be the most convenient thing to do. Because when I made that decision, it wasn't snowing. Then I wake up in the morning and it's ice on my car, ice on the road. Literally, I had to get the snow thing for the windshield. I was doing that for me. It wasn't about getting the snow off. It was for me showing myself that, listen, T, we about to show up and show out. So I just don't want you just to show up for yourself any kind of way. I want you to show up and show out because you are worthy. You are extraordinary. And you are nothing to be played with. And you deserve to have relentless self love, not just conditional self love, because there is greatness inside of you. And the more that you access the love that you have for yourself, the more that your purpose, the more that your greatness will show itself and appear light as day. It's amazing. I want to share with you all. I did a vision board for the very first time. And so I think this is a really good um, practice for self love because I really had to think about it. At first, I was just, I don't really feel like doing it. And who knows if any of this is real? Show up for yourself even when you don't see it. Show up for yourself. Make a plan for yourself. Okay. And for me, I've worked in corporate for about 10 years and I've seen people quarterly plan the first 3 months and plan the second 3 months, the third 3 months, and the fourth 3 months of the year. It's up to us to take ourselves seriously. We cannot wait for other people to plan our life. We cannot wait for other people to show up. We cannot wait for other people to create a vision for ourselves. We have to take ourselves with full authority, full attention, full love, and full gratitude because we are our greatest assets. And if you are your greatest asset, then you're going to make sure you have a plan for you. You're going to make sure you show up for you. You're going to make sure you love yourself no matter what, because the greatest asset on any team, in any business, is something that should be appreciated, thought about, and considered. So I consider myself, and I'm gonna show you. Y'all want to see my vision board? Hold on. Let me see. Y'all ready? Y'all want to see my vision board? All right, so check out my vision board. Wow. I hope you can like see it. It's not like the reverse. I can't tell. Um, but I'll go through really quick. Up here, I have the word health and happy because I'm really big on being healthy, not just physically, but mentally too. Being aware of my thoughts, being aware of my feelings, embracing my feelings and not just ignoring them, in order for me to have equilibrium and balance and more so harmony in my life. You got some yoga right here. We got Angela Bassett for Black Panther. We got just Black excellence. I mean, come on now. We got the legendary Stacey Abrams, Issa Rae, Lenny Kravitz just looking beautiful because I think it's amazing when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you look good. Man. All right. And let's see, I got freedom right here. I know my worth, I know my value. I'm not going to compromise that or settle for anything less than what I know I deserve. I have system because I want to create a system. Like I mentioned, embracing and loving myself enough to plan my life, have a vision for my life, just like how businesses have a vision. I want to create a system for my life. So therefore, we're gonna be on the beach sipping some pina coladas. Everybody. I have love and life, learn, wellness, love without limit, and just healing, coping, see the world. I love androgyny, so I love this guy in this dress. I feel like I'm a very androgynous person, so I had that. I have the speaker right here because we're gonna be speaking all over the world, 2023, my friends. So yeah, and I have the word coping here. Hopefully you can see that. And I personally selected those because 2022 was filled with a lot of pain for me. Um, I experienced a very intense heartbreak. It was very unexpected. I was not look when I tell you got hit by a boulder. And so I had to heal from that, my friends. Because I told you in my previous relation my previous heartbreaks, when I would go from relationship to I would just carry all of my trauma, all of my drama to the next relationship. And right now what you're seeing is me pausing, me taking more space for me taking up space for me. Like I mentioned, I was so used to always having somebody around and feeling like I always needed all these different people around that I never took up space for myself. I never realized how amazing I was, how extraordinary I was, to where that the only company that I needed to acknowledge was the company and greatness that I had inside of me. And so that's what I'm doing right now. And that's exactly why I'm making this podcast called Relentlessly Loving Yourself, because it should not take a partner to identify you, the love that you have for yourself. It should not take when you get that job for you to love yourself. It should not take when you get that car. It should not take when you get that degree. It should not take when you get this camera, this jewelry, this necklace. No, you have to love yourself right now because you have everything you need. And the more that you continue to overlook yourself, the more you downplay the value that you already have, and the more that you continuously try to seek external validation without realizing the power of internal validation. And I love the word space, us being able to take up space for ourselves, giving ourselves the time, giving ourselves the comfort, giving ourselves the patience that we need. That's one thing that I love about any of the pain that we experience, any of the trauma. Once we can take time to understand it, be with it, it gives us more understanding of who we are and who we are not. And that's space, right? Knowing who you are and who you are not. Between that is space. And the more that you can identify this space, the more that you can use this space in your everyday life. So for me, I know I've had a past where I've I've always had to respond or be like just be a smart aleck or have to have something to say. And one thing I realized in just communicating with other people, sometimes if we just took a little bit more space in between our responses, I think we will show more grace and more ease when we talk to each other. And even before we even talk to other people, creating more space between our thoughts and our decisions. Because sometimes we can have a thought of feeling like I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough. But if you just give it some space, life will unfold to you that you've always been good enough, that you will always be good enough. And I recently saw a video distinguishing the ego and the soul. And you know, here on SOS Wellness, we are all about the soul. doing that soul work. So, yes, we want to take care of your mind and your body, but what about your soul? That being that's living inside of you. Like, yeah, this human body is cool and all, but there's a soul inside of you that's moving around. So, how can you tell the difference between when your soul is talking to you and bringing up ideas compared to when your ego is talking to you and bringing up ideas? And I love this distinguish this clear differentiation is your when you hear thoughts from your ego is trying to convince you that you're not safe and that you are not loved. And so it's constantly trying to seek safety and love. But when you hear thoughts from your soul, it's coming from a place of being loved and being safe. So look at that space. If you have a thought and just giving it space so you can identify, is this a thought from my ego or is this a thought from my soul? That space right there is self-love, my friends. We need more of that space. We need more of that relentless self-love for each and every person watching this right now. And in order for you to love yourself, it's important for you to find yourself. So check this out. I want to share with you this quote. Shout out to Crystal. She shared this quote with me, right, about finding yourself. Because I believe when you find yourself, your purpose is able to find you. Your passion is able to run up on you. Your greatness is able to wave you down because you have found yourself. That's the beauty about self-love. It gives you that pathway to find yourself, love yourself, and then guess what? Your purpose is on the other side of that. Because listen, my friend, you were not just created to suffer. You weren't created to be a slave, a worker, or feeling like you were just living in this mundane cycle. You were created to thrive. You were created not to survive. You were created to excel, propel, fly. And I want to tell you a quote about finding yourself. Finding yourself is not really how it works. You aren't a $10 bill in last winter's coat pocket. You are also not lost. I'm going to say that one more time. You are not lost. Your true self is right there, buried under cultural conditions, other people's opinions, and inaccurate conclusions. You drew as a kid and became your beliefs about who you are. Finding yourself is actually returning to yourself. One more time. Finding yourself is about returning to yourself because you haven't been lost. You've always been there. It's about unlearning. It's about an excavation and remembering who you were, who you are, but before the world told you who you should be. That's a quote by Emily McDowell. I love that last part. Finding yourself is actually returning to yourself and unlearning, an excavation, a remembering of who you were before the world got its hands on you. So if you don't love yourself, think about that. If you struggle with loving yourself, is it about the conditioning that's people have been around you? Is it about other people's opinion that you were allowing to identify? Use the time that you have, any spare time, to spend with yourself, to understand yourself, because you are worthy. You are not a joke. You are not a game. You are a masterpiece who deserves to be celebrated and not just tolerated. My friends, we have to go into 2023 understanding that our purpose is waiting on us. Our purpose is trying to call us. Our purpose is knocking on our door, but we cannot hear it. We won't be able to hear those knocks. We won't be able to pick up the phone until we find ourselves in order to love ourselves. I know for me, this year I was able to experience going to the DR to speak internationally. And when I tell you, I wasn't even seeking that opportunity. It found me. But it's because I've been doing the work on myself. I've been doing the excavation. Mm, I've been unlearning. So in my last heartbreak, I learned, okay, don't just go out here and just jump into a relationship. Pause. So we had to do some unlearning. Then I had to do some excavation on what's in here. What are these even my opinions? Is that my definition of success? Who am I? And once was able to pull back these layers like an onion, I realized that I have always been there. I just got I just got buried beneath all the pain, all the trauma, all the opinions, all the negativity. And so day by day, peel off the opinions of other people, peel off any cultural conditioning, mm. Pull off any other people's definition of success in order for you to redefine and create success for you. You can only do that when you find yourself again. 2023 is ours, my friend, only if you do the work, only if you practice self-love every single day, and not just conditionally, but relentless. Be relentless with your self-love. Be relentless with the patience you have for yourself. Be relentless with the grace. Be relentless with the hugs that you give yourself. Because if you don't show up for yourself, it's going to be really hard for you to appreciate when other people show up for you. My friends, this is the end of the year episode. And when I tell you I am so beyond thankful to have this opportunity to be your host of this show, I truly mean it. I'm still getting, my work is still being done on me. I'm still getting chiseled. So listen, we in this together. And as I learn, I'm going to share. So please comment below, share your comments, subscribe. Let me know if this episode gave you anything that will help you as you continue into your next year of life. I'm excited for you. I'm looking forward to 2023. And remember, you can succeed over the suicide of your mental health, goals, and your life. You are possible. Till next time.